Hello and welcome to this IEP meeting. We are meeting today on student Jean Bradley in regards to her Psychoeducational Evaluation Report. As you know, we did run some assessments for Jean, and the results were as followed. The formal assessments that we did was, the first was a universal nonverbal intelligence test, where the results were either delayed or very delayed. This is overall a test that measures kind of intellectual and cognitive abilities for Jean. And as you had expressed in some of your interviews, you were, concerned about how she was progressing, as are we. Also, we did an assessment called the Woodcock-Johnson Test of Achievement, which again, this is really similar to the other tests, and it will assess her in different levels of reading and math and language. She scored low to very low in all of those achievement tests that were provided. We did another test called the Adaptive Behavioral Assessment System. This was done by the teacher who was surveyed, and it tests in skills of like daily living, motor skills and fine motor skills, as well as socialization and communication. And she served pretty much extremely low to borderline in those categories. It also tested in areas of self-care. Another test we ran was the wide range assessment of visual motor abilities, and this tested areas of like drawing and matching, and her scale and her score was below average, and I think there are some things that we can do to help her achieve the goals and things that you are looking at having her do at home as well as school. And then the last assessment, the formal assessment that we gave her, was the comprehensive assessment of spoken language. And this test, the way they composition and express themselves, and her core score was also below average. So we do have some concerns moving forward, and there are several things that we would like to recommend for Jean going forward, so that she can get the modifications and help that she needs to reach her goals. So a couple of the IEP goals that we recommend would be, for example, the functional academic IEP goal would be a reading comprehension goal where Jean would read and match 25 common signs in the environment with 80% accuracy for a 2-week period with less than 3 prompts, which means that she would have a card and it would show her the pictures of the signs, and she'd have a few choices where she could pick which ones they are, and she would get 80% correct after 2 weeks with less than 3 prompts. So just, that continuous, trying to keep her on task and keep her focused. So we would use different ways to monitor her reading. One would be a curriculum-based measurement. We would give you a progression graph that would show you just how she is progressing and where we'd like her to be in relation. Next, we could quiz her on them, so we can see, really what is she retaining and what is she learning, how we think she could be. The last one would be a teacher review of her work. So we would take the classwork that she's done and just look at it and grade it and just kind of see if she's progressing progressing how she should. The next goal that we'd like to have her do is a daily living goal of independent feeding, where she would improve her feeding skills with the use of gripped utensils at lunch with 60% accuracy, which means she'd actually reach the food to her mouth for 1 month. So how we would progress monitor this would be a teacher or an instructional assistant would observe her eating at lunch, and then that way we could see how she's progressing. We could document that daily and apply interventions as needed. So if we see, that she's not gripping it how she should, we can make those corrections on the spot. And then the last progress monitoring for those eating behaviors would be to have Jean complete an exit ticket to see how she thinks she's doing. Is she comfortable using these utensils? Do they feel too big or too small? Or, what can we do to help improve it so that she can meet these goals? We talk about where she is currently, her present level of academic achievement, and you've provided a lot of feedback here to Whitehorse Elementary about, what you're seeing happen at home, and you've shared valuable feedback and how she's progressing and socializing. So that is very helpful. And we've done some reports at school to also align with what you have given us in your interview. And then any other feedback would be helpful so that we can get her any of the accommodations and modifications that might be helpful to get her on the level where she should be. If you have any questions, I will have you sign off on these IEP goals, and my information will be there at the bottom so you can touch base with me or reach out to me as needed. Thank you and have a great day.